political atmosphere in the Philippines remained intense as the Senate prepared to convene as an impeachment court. But despite the growing pressure surrounding the proceedings, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano retained his position as Senate president. The development immediately drew national attention because it signaled continuity in Senate leadership during one of the country's most sensitive political periods. Lawmakers, analysts, and observers closely watched the Senate session as discussions surrounding the impeachment process moved forward. Many expected possible changes in Senate leadership ahead of the court proceedings, especially as political alliances inside the chamber continued shifting in recent weeks. However, the Senate ultimately decided to keep Cayetano in the top position, reflecting continued support from a significant number of senators. The decision came at a time when political tensions across the Philippines remained high. Public discussions intensified regarding accountability, constitutional processes, and the role of the Senate in maintaining institutional stability. The impeachment proceedings themselves have become one of the most discussed political issues in the country, drawing reactions from supporters and critics alike. As the Senate convened, attention quickly turned toward how the impeachment court would operate under Cayetano's leadership. The Senate president plays a crucial role during impeachment proceedings, overseeing sessions and ensuring parliamentary procedures are followed carefully. Because of this responsibility, the leadership question became a major political issue even before the court formally convened. Several senators emphasized the importance of maintaining order and avoiding unnecessary instability during the process. They argued that changing Senate leadership at such a critical moment could create confusion and further complicate already sensitive proceedings. Supporters of Cayetano described continuity as essential for preserving institutional credibility. Political observers noted that the decision also reflected broader coalition dynamics within the Senate. Over the past months, alliances have evolved as different political groups position themselves ahead of future national developments. Some lawmakers reportedly pushed for leadership discussions behind closed doors, while others preferred maintaining the current structure until the impeachment proceedings concluded. The impeachment process itself has generated intense debate across the country. Supporters of the move argue that constitutional mechanisms must function independently and transparently. Others believe the process risks deepening political divisions at a time when the country is already dealing with economic and regional challenges. Despite the heated political atmosphere, Cayetano projected confidence following the Senate decision. He stressed the importance of respecting democratic institutions and ensuring that all proceedings follow constitutional rules. According to several lawmakers present during discussions, the Senate leadership aimed to avoid actions that could be interpreted as politically disruptive during such a critical period. Some senators also called for calm and restraint among supporters on all sides of the political debate. They warned against inflammatory rhetoric and urged the public to allow the constitutional process to unfold properly. Analysts noted that maintaining public trust will likely remain one of the Senate's biggest challenges as the impeachment court continues its work. Across social media and political circles, reactions to Cayetano's continued leadership were mixed. Supporters praised the Senate for avoiding internal instability, arguing that leadership continuity could help the institution focus on legal and constitutional matters instead of political infighting. Critics, however, questioned whether the Senate could remain fully neutral amid strong political pressures from multiple sides. The impeachment court proceedings are expected to attract even greater national attention in the coming weeks. Legal experts anticipate complex arguments, procedural debates, and heightened political scrutiny as hearings continue. Because impeachment cases carry major political implications, every Senate action is likely to be examined closely by both domestic and international observers. Meanwhile, several political groups outside the Senate continued organizing statements and public activities related to the impeachment process. Civic organizations called for transparency, while others emphasized national unity and institutional stability. The situation has highlighted how deeply political developments inside the Senate can influence the broader national climate. Observers also pointed out that the Senate's handling of the proceedings could affect public confidence in democratic institutions. The chamber now faces pressure to demonstrate fairness, professionalism, and independence throughout the impeachment process. Any perception of political favoritism or procedural irregularity could intensify criticism and public tension. Inside the Senate, lawmakers appeared aware of the historical significance of the moment. Some senators described the proceedings as a major institutional test for Philippine democracy. Others emphasized that senators must balance political realities with constitutional responsibilities while under intense public scrutiny. As discussions continued, many Filipinos closely followed every development through television broadcasts, online platforms, and political commentary programs. Public interest remained extremely high, with many citizens debating not only the impeachment case itself, but also the broader direction of Philippine politics. Political analysts noted that leadership stability inside the Senate may influence how smoothly the impeachment court functions. Maintaining the same Senate president could reduce procedural disruptions and help preserve continuity during long and potentially contentious hearings. However, analysts also caution that political pressures are likely to increase as proceedings advance. At the same time, some opposition voices argued that Senate leadership decisions should remain separate from impeachment considerations. They insisted that the institution must prove it can independently handle constitutional duties without political influence. Supporters of the current leadership countered that experience and procedural familiarity are especially important during sensitive national events. The broader political environment surrounding the impeachment proceedings remains highly dynamic. Various political camps continue adjusting strategies as public reactions evolve. Analysts believe the coming weeks could shape future alliances and influence broader national political discussions ahead of future elections and policy debates. For many citizens, the central concern remains whether the process will remain fair, transparent, and constitutional. Public trust in democratic institutions often depends on how major political moments are handled. Because of this, the Senate now carries enormous institutional responsibility. While emotions surrounding the issue remain strong, several lawmakers urge the public not to rush to conclusions before hearings proceed further. They emphasize that impeachment is ultimately a constitutional process requiring careful examination of evidence, testimony, and legal arguments. International observers are also paying attention to developments in the Philippines, particularly because political stability in the country plays an important role in regional economic and diplomatic relations. Political continuity inside the Senate may therefore be viewed as an effort to reassure both domestic and international audiences during a sensitive period. As the impeachment court officially moves forward, all eyes will remain on the Senate chamber. The decisions made there are expected to shape not only the immediate political future of those involved, but also broader discussions about governance, accountability, and democratic institutions in the Philippines. For now, Alan Peter Cayetano remains Senate president, and the Senate enters one of its most closely watched constitutional proceedings under his leadership. The coming days are expected to bring further debate, legal arguments, and political reactions as the impeachment court continues its work under intense national attention.